What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Tim Warren Show. We got another full one set up for you today with a whole lot of stories to talk about. Actually, to be honest, not a whole lot of stories, but very interesting stories, especially from the institutional side. That adoption that we've been talking about for a very long time now, it continues to develop. The institutions are big into crypto for the future. What does that mean, though? Because sometimes on the surface, that can seem really bullish. Other times it can be utilized as a situation to be bearish. What are the charts saying right now? What do these news stories mean for your crypto portfolio? What are some of the top performing altcoins today? We're going to tackle all of this stuff. It's going to be a semi-shorter show with the information, but I want to make sure I have 5 to 10 minutes today to cover some of your guys' questions. So stick around, smash the like button, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And if you have any questions, I'll be answering some of those throughout the show. Mostly towards the end, though. So with that said, if you smash that like button, if you are subscribed, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go look at the charts right now. Bitcoin back up above 93,000 here today. There's a little bit of a scare kind of going on. By the way, you guys are going to hear it. That cough is still here. I have no idea what's going on, but maybe my cough is fueling the bull run. Just kidding. The cough kind of started back in here, so there's no situational comparison whatsoever. But I'm going to go with it. Right now, the cough is fueling the bull run. Bitcoin is ignoring some major bearish signs. You start off here on the 4-hour chart. Told the VIP trading group today, I did take a little bit of profit on some of my shorter term Bitcoin moves because the 4-hour chart is giving us bearish divergence, red reversals, gray momentum, but you see the money flow hasn't turned over just yet. If/when that happens, there could be a bigger correction in play. I'll tell you here in a second where I think it could go down to. The 1 hour is unmistakably bearish, although at this point, maybe we have it turning back towards the bullish side. Yeah, there was some big sell signals here, but I'll tell you what this means. Big sell signals on the 1 hour chart, red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. We now are starting to actually see some positive momentum going back up. But in a nutshell, you can see Bitcoin really did not move that far to the downside. Why? Because in bullish trends, under bullish situations where the bulls are controlled, you're not going to see nothing but straight up movement. But the sell signals will not be severe. It's a sign that maybe the bulls had to stop to catch their breath after this run, but the consolidation to the downside has been very sideways, been very small. That is a very bullish sign that the bulls really seem to be in control. I will tell you, though, continue to watch out for that 4-hour chart. It is something to be concerned about. I mean, just if this was a normal sideways trading session, I would tell you you're needing to look down here towards 88,000 as support, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. First of all, we could have bottomed out this little correction this morning already. We could be about to skyrocket the upside. I'm going to tell you about some interesting resistance to the upside here in a second. But if we do drop, if the 4-hour does turn on us a little bit, I keep my eyes right here just south of $91,000. So some big order blocks in this camp right here. I think that's where potentially the bulls want to regroup and they be able to buy up the dip. One of the reasons I'm still confident about that is because the daily chart is still looking very strong. Didn't mean to draw right there. Apologize. Still got that nice buy signal in play. I've already told you the first level to kind of watch and say, hey, maybe this is a resistance level. Maybe we reject here is going to be right beneath 97,000. Big order block. And we have that smart trail from the daily chart in play right there. There probably are already people right now with sell signals and shorts set up at that area. But if we end up breaking through, I've already told you, continue to tell you, 103 to 105, or actually 106. That's an interesting level to keep an eye on with some major order blocks. It's also going to be right in the area I expect the 200-day SMA to be in by the time Bitcoin would make its movements up there, okay? We'll cover the news here in a couple of seconds as to why that run could happen, but in a nutshell, we're still in the same place we were yesterday. We're still moving to the upside. There are a couple of bearish signals on the 4-hour chart, but a sign of a strong bull trend is that those bearish signals get ignored. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out over the next, I would say if the 4-hour chart's giving us a sell, you're looking at the next 48 hours. So throughout Thursday and Friday, how does Bitcoin respond is going to be very important. Some things that I'm watching here throughout other charts, though, Bitcoin dominance had a nice group, a nice rally the other day. We got up here, like we said yesterday, up to our 5960, but we are falling back a little bit here today. If you were to go to the hourly chart, it has been pulling back, mainly because there's a couple of altcoins out there making some pretty nice moves. Like if I were to show you, let's go to the 4-hour chart here. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart. You can see we've kind of paused. There's a couple of blue candles in here on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. When it comes to a coin like Ethereum, that has just continued to be bullish. While right now, the current candle is giving us a little blue look, Ethereum is still looking very, very strong. I told you the other day, I'm going to maintain this opinion. I think that Ethereum, under the current buy signal on the daily chart, is at least going to make a move back up towards $3,300. $3,290 is what I'm watching right now. Could it go a little higher? Absolutely, right? This, to me, for Ethereum to hit 3,300 is like Bitcoin hitting 97,000. If Bitcoin breaks through, watch Ethereum make a move possibly higher up here towards 3,800. Very good stuff happening there. Chainlink is up almost 7% today. You guys can see there, very good looking candles. Look at the 4-hour chart. Very, very impressive right now. Chainlink is having a field day. Of course, their ETF just launched yesterday. It already hit the resistance level I told you about yesterday. Remember that order block we talked about yesterday? It already hit it. So what does this mean? If Bitcoin and Ethereum and other altcoins continue to accelerate to the upside to hit their levels, now all of a sudden, I don't think Chainlink rejects and pulls back while Bitcoin and Ethereum rally. I think you kind of turn your attention towards higher levels. There's an order block up at 1730. I would say watch 1640, a former high from back here earlier in November. But in a nutshell, Chainlink is performing extremely well right now. There's a couple more altcoins I want to look at, and we can come back and look at some others later. You guys begged me in chat yesterday, and I missed it. And I see already a couple of people commenting right now. Tim, what about SUI? Let's go take a look at SUI. SUI had itself a nice day yesterday. Big run here. It tipped right here, did reject on the top of the daily smart trail. I told you, I didn't tell you guys. I told the VIP trading group that 178, 180 range could be very interesting. But in my opinion, again, I don't think this rally is quite done just yet. There's a lot of signs we want to go up a little higher. Keep your eyes back around $2 on SUI is what I'd be telling you right now. The daily chart still has a lot of room to the upside. What about the 4-hour chart? What's it kind of saying to us? It's a little closer towards that 4-hour sell signal than maybe Bitcoin. That rounding of the money flow is a little bit better than what we have on Bitcoin. So what does that mean? Next 48 hours, we could easily see a small correction on SUI. Look at these order blocks back down here. It is back down towards the 4-hour smart trail. I'd keep my eyes somewhere back towards 154. You could easily see SUI have a nice little correction, bounce off that support, and then make its way up towards the $2 mark. You're seeing right now, big order block on the 4-hour chart is a reason for resistance right there with that daily smart trail. So just don't rule out these little corrections, these little higher lows to come into play. When it comes to SUI, I'd watch for even as low as back to 154 and stay in a pretty bullish momentum to make a move back towards, if not get back above $2 in the short term. Right, so there's some altcoins right there. One more I want to kind of point out to you guys, and we talked about this a month ago. I told you guys where I would be buying. That we actually had some triggers on some buy signals for Zcash. Or some of you would have gotten to wait a little bit longer, but I told you I wanted to wait till coming back to guess where? Right in here, right above this order block. I said this high that we had back on October 12th, around $296, $297. Look at where Zcash, look at that. Look at where Zcash bottomed out almost perfectly right there to the T of that top from back in October. Zcash sitting in a very good spot. If you are bullish on it long term, it hit a spot already. Yes, it's making its way back up. I'm not saying we can't revisit down here. I'd keep some buy orders down here at 300, maybe even down towards 270 just in case with the order blocks. But we're sitting in a much better place than it was just here in the middle of November at 741. It has already pulled back here since those highs. We've seen a pullback of 60% on Zcash. I don't think Zcash is going anywhere. I don't think Zcash was a flash in the pan, now a dead coin. I'm not telling you go mortgage your house and put it all into Zcash. Be responsible. But if you were waiting for a time to buy Zcash, what I see on this chart is down 60% from that recent high. That to me is a reason to be optimistic and be looking to purchase some of it moving forward. All right, so ask some questions in chat. We're going to come back. Tell me what other coins you possibly want some TA on. Let's cover some news really quickly. By the way, lower show views today so far. Some of that because you guys have not smashed the like button yet. Go ahead, even right now, and smash the like button. While you're doing it, I want to remind you now 2 days left. If you're watching this video right now, make sure to go into the VIP trading group in the description, click on the WAP account, and get access to up to 50% off the VIP trading group today. If you want to see daily live trading sessions, get access to several pro traders who will help teach you where to enter, where to exit, how to process the markets, how to handle risk management. Oh, by the way, also get access to these killer tools that are giving us amazing support, resistance, and buy and sell signals. This is the place to do it. But for the next 2 days only, get up to 50% off the VIP trading group today. Check it out in the link down below. Use code BF50 for 50% off. Or if you just want to do month to month, use code BF33 for 33% off right now. Don't miss out because those prices are going to shoot back up and you'll be left behind. Let's talk about some news. Let's talk about some news that's coming out here today. This is the big one you guys see on the thumbnail. Larry Fink. Now, this isn't like breaking news by any means, but I think it's important that we cover this detail. Larry Fink was on a stage today with Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase. People are looking forward to this thing to be a massively bullish event. These things are nice. Like, they're very helpful. I don't ever think too highly of these events. It's ultimately them talking to people that don't know a whole lot about crypto, talking to traditional finance people who maybe are thinking about getting into crypto. So it is bullish long term. I just didn't know if it was going to have any big dividends for today. But Larry Fink in this interview, I'm not going to play it for you guys, but he's being asked about his former takes on Bitcoin. He historically has said Bitcoin and crypto was used for thievery, for scumbags, for making sure that crime can still exist. In this interview, he acknowledges all that and says, you know what? As a person who manages trillions of dollars, I have takes and I have to be aggressive in my takes, but I also need to realize when I'm wrong, and I was wrong about cryptocurrency. Some other big things that came out in this interview was both him and Brian Armstrong talked about the future of crypto and how real world assets are the future of the stock market, that crypto is the future for money in general. In fact, even though this article from Watcher.guru doesn't name him, he's the one being quoted here. It says $12 trillion BlackRock says U.S. national debt will accelerate crypto adoption. So in this meeting, he went on a spree of saying, if you're not serious about cryptocurrency, I don't know what's wrong with you. It is the future. Now, there's some other institutional stories. I want to cover this all in together. There was another big story that came out here today that another $12 trillion asset manager, Charles Schwab, some of you have heard of them, says that it will be offering Bitcoin and Ethereum trading in the early days of 2026. Now, trading doesn't necessarily gain any bullish momentum other than the fact that Charles Schwab, if they're going to offer it, and nobody currently has bought Bitcoin or Ethereum with Charles Schwab, the only thing that can start off is buying. This is another sign. We have BlackRock, who's been bullish on crypto, but Larry Fink going on a sales pitch spree, telling people it is the future. Get in now before it's too late. I was wrong about it. Don't pay attention to my past words. I was wrong. This is the future. Now we have Charles Schwab, one of the larger TradFi brokers out there that people utilize for long-term investing, saying, hey, we're going to start offering Bitcoin and Ethereum. The institutions are beating their chest right now about crypto. Go off my screen for a second here. I asked this in the poll. I asked this in chat. Does this recent institutional interest in crypto make you excited or worried? Right now, 52% of you are saying you're excited. 17% of you are saying I'm worried. 31% of you are saying I'm not sure yet. Why am I even asking that question? It's because of stuff that we've been talking about now for quite some time. And that is the markets are heavily manipulated. They're manipulated up. They're manipulated down. And who's manipulating them? There's a combination of OG whales. There's people from Binance, from Wintermute, from others. They're doing their role to manipulate things. But these institutions coming in absolutely have their hand in it as well. We already have covered on this show JP Morgan and their several layers of sins and accusations of ways they've manipulated Bitcoin price via MicroStrategy. All of a sudden, they're coming out of the woodwork really bullish. And now we see Charles Schwab and Larry Fink on another sales pitch telling people, get in now. On the surface, this all is very bullish. On the flip side, sometimes, and when I say sometimes, I mean a lot of times, when people of this magnitude get really bullish on an asset class, it can end up being a bad thing. It can end up being a local top where you encourage retail idiots. I wish I could put that better, but that's the word I have to use here. You encourage retail idiots to jump in at the wrong time. They didn't want you to buy Bitcoin when it was back at, what was it down to, $15,000? They didn't want you to buy it back then. They didn't want you to buy Bitcoin when Bitcoin in the summer of 2024 crashed to $49,000. They didn't want you to buy Bitcoin back in April when it crashed to $74,000, right? They don't want you to buy the bottoms. That's where they buy. They often want you to buy the top so they can sell off a little bit, take some profit, and look for a dip to buy more. And so a lot of times I get concerned, I get worried myself when there's too much good opinions out there, when there's too much good institutional discussion. Now, the Charles Schwab story, I will say, is not really an opinion. It's a fact. They're going to start offering it well, they say not even necessarily January. They say early 2026. I'm saying January. I don't know why. Probably not January. My point is that's a bullish story. That is a bullish story saying we are going to do X, Y, Z. Larry Fink saying it's the future. My JP Morgan flooding Bitcoin and then coming in now and saying, oh, I was wrong about Bitcoin. It's really good. And by the way, we're going to start buying it now. I'm not telling you sell. I'm telling you it's those types of stories that keep me thinking that I'm kind of on this train ride for a couple of weeks now. I'm not sure the bottom is in just yet. What am I talking about here? Go back to my screen here, Smay, so we can take a look at this. I've told you guys now for quite some time. I don't think the top of this move is in just yet, right? I still think we go somewhere between 97 to 103. But I also am not quite certain if we're done to the downside. I'm not certain that 80,500 was the bottom. You know, there's a lot of reason to suspect potentially a move back down to 74 could be in the cards. There's people out there, and again, I think there's credibility to the fact that we really could even go lower than that. It's about watching what happens next a little bit. I'm very open to changing my mind and saying, hey, we just watched a massive amount of volume come in. We watched this, X, Y, and Z happen. I'm changing it. I'm full-blown bullish right now, right? But when I see stories like this, I see opinions coming out. I see the narrative changing. I don't think this run is done, but these are stories that keep me saying I'm not ready to declare the bottom is in. I could easily see a rejection and a lower low. And by this time, when you hit these lower levels and retail is fed up and they're done, you would think that retail was done right here, right? You would think that people are just fed up back at 80K. I don't know if that's the case. At this point, they're going to get you to a place where you're just saying, there's no good news you can tell me. Like, I don't care what you say, Larry. I don't care what you say, Jamie. I don't care what you say, Brian. I don't care what you say, name any of the people that can manipulate price. CZ. There's nothing bullish you could tell me that would convince me we're going to go up. We are in a full-blown bear market and it's said and it's done. It's over. That's right where they want you. I don't know if that's the case right now. I think stories like this and like this are going to start to intrigue some retail to come back in maybe a little too early. They end up buying a top. I don't know if they're buying right this second, but I'll tell you this right now. Why do I think that we could go above 100K and then drop back down? Because I think there's this dispositional thought that, I don't know if that's the right usage of that word, but I think there's a thought that Bitcoin is bearish until it gets back above 100K. And the minute we get above 100K, bull market back on. So if I'm the bears, if I'm the institutions, if I'm the manipulators, I get the price just high enough to convince you the bull market is back on. I print stories that tell you where I have a bright future. Then I crash price. I bring it down to a lower low. You say, that's it. Officially, I'm out. I'm done. I'm quitting crypto. Crypto's dead. Bitcoin's dead. I'm never touching it again with a 10-foot pole. And when they get you in that spot, that's where they buy. And that's where they say, all right, we're going to let this one run up and we're going to make some money. Because now, guess what? No matter what good things happen, we can get Bitcoin back above 100K and they're going to say, doesn't matter, bull run off. We can get the Bitcoin price to new all-time highs and they're going to say, they're just faking us out again. This is the tactic of the composite man. I would love to be wrong. I would love to look back in a couple of months and say, guys, 80,000 was the bottom. Guys, I bought down this level. I'm not telling you I'm not buying. I'm accumulating prices. I would love to be wrong here. But when I look at the technical analysis and I look at stories like this, I get this pit in my stomach that says, this sounds a little too good to be true. It sounds like a misdirection move. And this is part of the analysis and the bias that I've had now for the last couple of weeks. So Do with this information what you want to. Process this for yourself. I'm just warning you, sometimes good news doesn't always equal good news. This story is good. I'm still bullish. I still think we see a long bullish momentum in 2026. There's such little logic to me to say that 2026 is going to be a full-blown bear market. I don't think Donald Trump and his team going into a midterm election is going to allow the economy to crumble all of 2026. But if we had a little correction and the bottom comes in early in 2026, after a rally late 2025, back above 100K, I think that makes a lot of logical sense in the world of manipulation. Would love to be wrong, but we'll see how that plays out. Let's get some other good news, though. Going back to shorter term stuff, right? I kind of just talked about what the next couple of months could look like. Let's talk about the next couple of days. Let's talk about the next couple of weeks. This morning, we got a review on the U.S. ADP payroll that fell by negative. Well, it didn't fall by negative 32. We typed this one wrong. I'm going to have to go back and talk to my typing team. It fell by 32,000. So negative 32,000 is how much it came down by in November, while economists were expecting it to rally 10K. This means employment levels are dropping. They're worse than you thought. Guess what that means? It means expectation is unemployment gets a little higher. Unemployment's the main concern. What does that mean? It means the Fed now, there's very little probability left that we have a pause here in a week. It's 7 days from now, December 10th, the next FOMC meeting. Right now, we got Polymarket saying a 95% probability we will get a rate cut. Only 5% saying we will stay paused. That's not very likely. Things can change, but all things right now are pointing towards another rate cut happening in December. And if that happens, match that with QT, match that with what we talked about yesterday and how the Fed is actually quietly, secretly distributing funds. So they're actually they're in covert quantitative easing right now. This is short-term very bullish. Doesn't wipe out what I just said about we could have another big correction. But if you're only looking at what's happening right now, this is kind of what's continuing to spark me to believe 97 to 103 is still doable to the upside. I'm not quite certain that 94 here was the top. All right, guys, that's all I have. That's what I had planned for the show. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Make sure to smash the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Let's get into some Q&A time. You guys can ask some questions. I'll do my best to answer them here for a couple of minutes, and we'll call it a show here today. Wrong answer. I'm having trouble finding a third job. Yeah, those job numbers. Not many people hiring. Market makers follow liquidity, and that's more to the low side by 1 billion. Okay, Redline. What do you think the bottom would be? Like, what? Give me your estimate. I think 74 is intriguing. I think my level is. I think that 50K is doable. I don't think likely. I'm not sitting here telling you I think wait till 50K to buy Bitcoin. I'm telling you, at this point, I could see a 60% correction for Bitcoin. Not guaranteeing it, not saying it's for sure. I hope I'm wrong, but the more and more this kind of develops, I'm open to that probability. I think 74K is the most, like if you were telling me bottom in, possible, not probable. 74K is my probably most likely bottom. And then I think you start to look at 60 and 50K and you're like, okay, those are doable, just not necessarily the most likely outcome. All right. Steak or chicken, Tim? Steak. I mean, I both. Meat is good, but we're going to go steak here, Ken. Redline thinks 89K. Okay, so you think we come back down to 89K and then we shoot back up. Yeah, I showed you earlier in the show. Go back to my screen here, Smay. We got some interesting liquidations. 89K is actually a little lower than what I was looking at. Maybe you have a pile of liquidations you're watching. It's not a big pile of liquidations. I think there's a nice looking order block coming in down here at 90,700, 90,600. Could be very interesting. Again, I would love to be wrong. I think it's too soon to declare the bottom is in just yet. Doesn't mean I agree with people like James Wynn or anything. I'm just watching how these markets move, watching how this stuff happens. It's too soon. You got my screen now. Ben Cowan dropped a Bitcoin video. Good for Ben Cowan. I'll check it out later. Ondo, please. I'm averaged at 95 cents. Ouch. Yeah, you're down. You're down considerably. Let's take a look at what Ondo is doing here. Had a nice pop-up like Bitcoin and others. Didn't get back up higher, though, than some highs we had the other day in November. But not a bad shot here. 4-hour chart, again, just like the others, you're seeing that slight bearishness. And here's what I would say about Ondo. If altcoins weren't heavily tied to Bitcoin's price, I would be slightly concerned on this chart. Like this chart alone, Ondo, I would say you put in a higher low, you're developing a 4-hour sell signal. More than likely, this is a larger pullback. More than likely, this is one that does want to at least come back down to 46 cents or potentially even go back down to the lows we had at 44 cents. I don't know, though. Ondo's going to follow Bitcoin more than anything. And with Bitcoin kind of suggesting that we're in a more bull trend and with that big order block at around 90K-ish area, I just don't think Ondo's going to get obliterated here. Could it? It could. But I would say Ondo, I still feel pretty good about it. The longer term daily buy signal still in effect. We still got a green dot here. I still feel pretty good about a move back up towards 60 cents at least. And then it'll be interesting to see what happens back towards 70 cents. Your average entry of 95 cents. Be patient. I'm not telling you we're about to go back and you're about to break even on your entry. I'm telling you, be patient because I still think some of the best days for altcoins are ahead. While I think misdirections will happen, stories like this, BlackRock saying that the national debt will accelerate crypto adoption, and the fact that him and Brian Armstrong are talking in this interview about how real-world assets are the future of the TradFi world. Ondo's one of the forefront coins of the real-world asset play. So I'm down with you. I don't think I'm in the loss yet on Ondo because I got some good Ondo in early, but I'm hurting. My Ondo portfolio is hurting. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is down. I think this is a little bit of part of that manipulation I'm talking about. I think that Ondo is going to have such a nice big ride to the upside long term. Institutions are just gobbling it up like candy right now at these lower prices, and they look for opportunities to do that. But when it actually starts getting utilized, right? We've already communicated Ondo's relationships. The fundamentals are there. Wait till the light gets turned on. Think of it like this. Ondo in the real world asset is like the electric work of the house. They have set the electric up. Right? Ondo is in partnership with all of the big companies it needs to be in partnership with. They haven't flipped the power on yet, though. So price is not doing anything. It's not being utilized for what it can be in the future. There's not clear regulation that's allowing the institutions to go big into tokenizing their assets. Once that is in place, once that's done, that's the people moving into the house. They turn the power on, and that power bill goes, and Ondo is the power bill. Take that illustration for what it's worth. I don't know if it's a perfect illustration. You can probably poke a lot of holes in it, but hopefully you get my point. Ondo is not being used yet. Wait for it to get used. If it's disappointing after it's being used, then we'll have another conversation about Ondo. All right, guys, we'll do like one or two more questions. Again, wanted to keep today a little bit shorter, but I'm glad you guys stuck around here. 6% from all-time high for the bear market bottom. Whenever that comes, I don't think we're in a bear market or winter, whatever you want to call it. Well, by the way, that would be the bottom. Like it would be a shorter bear market. This whole thing. I was talking with Crux about this the other day as well. You can go off my screen here, Smay. The whole cycle's been all over the place. Again, I'm gonna get myself in trouble with some of the things I've said. The 4-year cycle, I believe, is over. I have an argument that I'm not gonna get into today that says the 4-year cycle was always a BS cycle predictor. But no matter what you want to do, this was the smallest bull market for Bitcoin. More than likely, it equals the smallest bear market. Altcoins didn't even have a bull market. And if you're going to call anything the altcoins had, it would have been the shortest bull market of all time. And therefore, you would also kind of think that we'd have a shorter bear market as well. And that's what you're kind of seeing right now as Bitcoin dominance is dropping when this supposed 4-year cycle is already over. This market is different. It's different than ever before. But what we're about to uncover, and I say about to meaning the next couple of months, I don't know the dates, I don't know exactly when, we're about to see clear regulation. We're about to see liquidity pour back in. And I know we see trickles right now. It's about to pour. The liquidity is coming back. We're smashing rates. We are entering quantitative easing at some point in 2026. The regulation is coming and prices are down. Like, just how much lower can these things go without dying? I don't think there's not a lot further for Ondo price to go before it dies. There's not a lot further for a lot of these altcoins to go before they die. And the fundamentals say they're not dead. The fundamentals say they're about to get used in mass by the institutions. But is there further manipulation in play to confuse and frustrate the retail investor? Absolutely there is. So you got to kind of ride the roller coaster. The ride's not done yet. We're not back to the the entrance where we get to get off and then somebody else gets the crazy ride. All right, guys. Follow Rufio in your group. Yeah, Rufio is one of our best pro traders over there. He crushes it every single day. Like I said, I'm wrapping up here, guys. If you want to learn more about when I'm buying, when I'm selling, but you want to learn about trading as well, we have several pro traders over there that are even better at trading than I am. We have several live trading sessions every day. We had the free indicator that comes with that VIP trading group. We have so much happening, and we have a sale right now for the next 2 days for up to 50% off. Go in the link right now. Go check out the Tim Warren Trading Group. Give it a month. If you don't like it, ask for a refund. We'll find a way to get it to you. We don't really have a good refund policy, but I'm a customer service guy. You reach out and you say, Tim, this sucks. I don't want to be in it anymore. Let me know, and we'll let you out, and we'll give you your money back. All right. That's all I have for you guys today. Be blessed. I'll be back.